Good evening, everyone. We are going to take a few minutes and just wait for participants to join, and then we will start the presentation. Just wanted to give a brief welcome. My name is Shantae Lipscomb. I'm your presenter for the day. I'm also the events assistant over at Uprooted Academy, and I'm so excited to be here with you all. If you have any questions throughout the presentation that I will be starting shortly, just drop them in the chat in the Q&A box, and I will do my best to answer them throughout the presentation and at the end of the presentation. So again, just drop them in the chat or the QA box. So right now I'm going to share my screen while we're waiting and just do a brief introduction to Uprooted Academy. All right, everyone. Put that up there, make it full screen. I hope that everyone can see the presentation. If you can see the presentation, please say something in the chat that you can see it so that we can start. All right, let's see. Thank you. All right, so tonight, welcome again. My name is Shantae Lipscomb, and we are going to talk about mindful journeys, navigating college transitions with confidence and mental wellness. So just a little background information about Uprooted Academy. So our mission at Uprooted Academy is to be ruthless in its pursuit to alleviate the anxiety and confusion around the college selection and application process by offering high quality and relatable programming to meet low income first generation students of color where they are at and support them on their path to confidently achieve their dreams. All right, so now we're going to begin our presentation. So again, my name is Shantae Lipscomb, and we're going to be talking about mindful journeys and navigating the transition with confidence and mental wellness. So today we're going to start with introductions. Then we're going to talk about understanding the transition to college, especially as a high school senior, mindfulness and mental wellness. We'll discuss some practical strategies for managing stress, embracing new experiences, and setting boundaries. And we're also going to discuss or bring in information for our parents, such as what is your role and how can you support your high school senior who is preparing to transition to college. So, a little bit about me. I live in Connecticut with my husband, two daughters, and two pit bulls. I graduated from UConn in 2008 with a BA in sociology. I also went to UConn with the CEO of Uprooted Academy, Tiffany Green. We graduated together. I also graduated from Bay Path University with an MS in clinical mental health counseling in 2016. I am a licensed professional counselor associate in Connecticut, and I'm also a doctoral student at Walden University, pursuing my PhD in counselor education and supervision. I finished all of my coursework, and I am currently working on my dissertation. So I have my hands full. And I have attended multiple universities, so I know what it is like to go through these transitions to different schools. So if you have any questions, again, throughout the presentation, just drop them in the chat. Okay, so we're going to do a quick group check-in just so I can get a feel of the room. Um, in the chat, you can answer the following questions. One, how are you feeling today? Whether that's, I'm feeling good or, it's been a stressful day, just drop that in there. And then you can also respond. Number two, where are you from? Just so we can get a feel from the room. And are you a parent or a student? And are you attending college in the fall? And if you are, which one? So I'll give you all a few minutes to do that. I'll say how I'm feeling today. So I am feeling actually pretty good today. It's been a very, very busy day, but that's okay. Um, as you saw, I'm from Connecticut and I am a parent myself. Um, but my oldest, she's in 8th grade, so I'm not quite there yet. She's transitioning to high school in the fall. And so no one outside of myself right now will be attending college in the fall. I'll still be working on my dissertation by then. All right, so we're going to move on. All right, so let me go back. So, understanding the transition for college, and this information right now is specifically for our teens in the room, our adolescents. So, going to college, right? It can be exciting, but it can also be scary. It's a big transition, especially if went to a smaller high school setting and you decided that, hey, it's time for me to go to a bigger college setting, right? Or, if you were homeschooled, right? um, transitioning from that setting into a college setting can also be a little challenging. So my suggestion for you all is to recognize and acknowledge your feelings, right? Number one, as a therapist, I always tell my clients, I always tell anyone that I work with that your feelings are very valid. So what you are feeling is valid. If you're feeling anxious, it's okay. If you're feeling excited, that's okay too. Those are normal feelings to have because this is a big change from where you actually were to where you are going to be now. Um, Understand that homesickness and uncertainty are common and temporary. I've experienced that before. I went to Yukon and my mom, she lived maybe like 35 minutes away. There were periods in time when I did become homesick, right? I was like, "Oh, why am I out here?" Right? I want to be back home where my family is because it was just easier. It was a comfortable space to be in. And again, those feelings start to go away once you start to get to know your campus, once you get to know your roommate, and once you start to be involved on your campus setting. Another thing that you need to understand as you begin to transition is prepare for independence. Independence is lovely, um, but college offers you more independence than what you may have had, in high school, which means that you have more responsibilities now, right? Start practicing self care, time manage, and decision making skills now. Those are three big things that you can work on throughout the summer, and your parents or your counselor or any trusting adult that you have can help you start to work on and establish if you don't already have those skills in place. Learn some basic life skills like cooking, laundry, and budgeting that will also help with your ease and transition, especially if you're going to an out of state school, just because you want to make sure that, hey, if something comes up, I have the funds for it. Or, I don't have to ask mom and dad right away because I have enough supplies down here. So just make sure that you start to look at these things and start to build those skills and start to actually use those skills. And I see that we have, before I move on, I see that we have some more participants in the room. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat or the Q&A, and throughout the presentation, I will try to address them. Set some realistic expectations for yourself, right? As the teen transitioning to college, understand that the first few weeks are going to be a challenge. That transition isn't meant to be easy, right? Especially when you're coming off of your summer break. You have to adjust your times, your sleep schedules. You have to, adjust and adapt to the new environment that you're in and really start to create and cultivate routines that you feel that you can use throughout the year. And it's okay if you don't have everything figured out right away, right? Like, give yourself, I like to say this a lot, give yourself grace. It takes time to establish routines. It takes time to establish being comfortable in a new environment. It takes time to adapt. So give yourself some grace. It will come, it will happen. But just know, take your time. Taking time is a-okay. Another suggestion is, right, just staying connected. Even though you may be at UConn or you may have decided to go to Temple or to Brown or UCLA, right? Stay connected with your friends and families that you have at home, or maybe your friends that have gone to other schools, right? But also take the time to start establishing new relationships with friends and build some social networking opportunities at your new college. Pardon me. Thought I had a sneeze, didn't want to come. You can do that by joining clubs, organizations, or different sports teams at that time. Just find a community where you can feel connected and feel like you're heard on this news on the campus, right? And as you adapt and adjust to the campus, right? Make sure that you familiarize with yourself with campus resources. One of the big campus resources that we had at UConn was the Black Student Union, right? We would go into this one space and we could do work. We could just meet people, have conversations, play games. It was a very comfortable type of space for individuals to go to. And you specifically didn't just have to be African American to be in that space. Everyone would go there just because it matched their vibe, or it brought a certain type of energy. But find little places on campus or groups on campus that are welcoming, that are comforting to you, and use them. Let those be your supports. Also, one of my biggest things is academic advising. Get to know your counselor once classes starts, because that's the person that you will most likely be working with throughout your 4 years on that campus, right? Signing up for your classes, going to them if you're having an issue with a specific grade. So yeah, get to know them, meet with them. Don't be afraid. They're there to help, support, and guide you as you're adjusting to the new campus life. Another thing that I would like to point out is to find the mental health services on campus. Each college campus has a counseling center. Find the counseling center. You never know where you may be in a position where you need to seek some extra help or some professional advice. So I strongly advise that once you're settled and acclimated on campus, that you familiarize yourself with that resource that's free and available for you. And any other student organizations that may also be on campus, familiarize yourself. Not sure if any of the students in here um, have a desire for Greek life, right? There's the Divine Nine Greek Life, which I'm a member of, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Having that on campus for me was big. It was very supportive, and the organization just made me accountable for my actions and my academic performance. So if you feel like you want to learn about Greek life, look for that on your campus. And then there's the Panhellenic Greek life, look for that on campus. If you plan to rush or anything like that, look for these student organizations, because they're available, and they will also help ease you into the new college atmosphere. And again, if none of these feel comfortable to you, reach out to someone, right? Reach out to your parents if they're available. reach out to your pastor if they're available. Whoever is a trusting adult that you can interact with, can also be an aunt, can also be an older sibling, right? Reach out to them if you need help or if you're feeling overwhelmed to really talk through your feelings. Because again, that initial transition can be, it's a mix of emotions, right? And sometimes they can hit at different points. So it's going to be very important for you to express what you're feeling to others. So the next thing we're going to talk about is mental wellness while transitioning to college. Again, for the individuals who were not in here during my introduction, I am a licensed professional counselor associate in Connecticut. And so mental wellness and talking about mental health is a big thing for me. And a lot of times that area is overlooked when it comes to adolescents and teens transitioning to college, but it is a very big topic that needs to be addressed. So as I mentioned before, during this transition, right, your emotions are going to be up and down. It's almost like a roller coaster. Um, this is normal. I can't stress it enough. And I know I said it before, but these mix of emotions, right? Having feelings of excitement, anxiety, or homesickness, these are all normal. And you need to recognize that these feelings are a part of the process and that they will start to go away, right? The problem is if you notice that they don't go away, that's when you seek out the support, whether it's from your parents or whether it's from someone that is at the counseling center that's available on your campus. Again, as you go through the transition, you'll start to see increased independence, managing your schedule, your academics, and your daily life. If you were not in control of those things while you were in high school, this may also bring about feelings of anxiety, right? But in order to reduce that, take your time, ask for help, look up different ways to manage your schedule, look up different time management or organization videos, right? YouTube is a great resource for some of these. And you can also look on the UA website. We have information regarding this as well. Um, adapting adapting to changes, right? While you're on the campus is going to be stressful, but it's also an opportunity for growth. And with growth, we may be faced with challenges or we may feel comfortable growing, but if it's triggering some underlying feelings or you notice that something just doesn't feel right during this growth process or during this change process, reach out for help. There's someone who's always going to be available for you. Another thing during this time is to create a balanced routine. Again, time management, use planners or digital tools to organize your schedule. I know a lot of people, I'm not an iPad girly, but I see a lot of people on social media with the digital iPads. I love it. Maybe one day I'll get to the point where I'm an iPad girly. But for now, I love a hard planner. I love writing everything down. I look at my planner daily because it helps me keep myself organized. It helps me stay mentally sane sometimes, especially when I have a day and it's like super busy and super jam packed, which you may experience when you do transition to college because depending on your schedule, you may have back-to-back classes, or you may have that 8 a.m. class and that 8 p.m. class, and you're like, oh my goodness, what do I do during this time? Right? This is when you need a planner so you can plan out your day. So it doesn't seem overwhelming, or so that you have different pockets of time to take breaks. Prioritizing breaks and, managing those breaks is going to be important for you. Breaks are key to not overwhelming yourself, and breaks are key to giving your brain a break, especially as you're adjusting to the college environment. Another thing is to balance academics and leisure, right? While you're using your planner, whether paper or digital, schedule in some time for relaxation and some hobbies, right? Um, I am all for studying all the time, but I'm a firm believer that you need a little bit of balance, right? And if you factor in just maybe one small hobby once a week or so, however your schedule is set up, that will make you feel good. You have to do things that will make you feel good as well along this journey. Let's see, another big thing, self-care, self-care, I cannot talk about enough. And I know that it can be a challenge when you are just getting on that college campus, right? You're like, well, how can I implement self-care and study and figure out my hobbies and all of that? Self-care doesn't have to be big. Self-care could be simply taking a shower, right? If your schedule's busy and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't have time to take my shower this morning," right? Or maybe you woke up late and you were running late for that 8 a.m. class, right? If you don't have a class after that 8 a.m. class, you can go right back to your dorm and take that shower, right? Self-care doesn't have to be this grand thing. And self-care can be something that's free. For example, you can find a lot of guided meditation videos on YouTube, as well as different meditation videos or yoga videos that you can do to help reduce any stress that may come up. Or if you're just feeling overwhelmed and you're like, nobody's available to talk, physically moving your body is very good. And physical movement has a direct correlation to mental health. So if you move your body on a consistent basis as much as possible, while it'll also help reduce your whatever symptoms you may be experiencing at that time. Or you may even play piano, right? It could be something as relaxing as finding a piano on campus or going to the music room and just doing an activity that you genuinely enjoy and that has helped you in the past. Another thing, another form of self care is just making sure, and I know it's hard when you're in college, but making sure that you're getting enough sleep and that you're eating healthy, nutritious meals. And again, exercising, just moving that body, right? All of these will help you as you're making that transition and you're adapting to your new environment on your college campus. Another thing, prioritizing your mental health. We have to make sure that we are calm, right? That if something is coming up, that we're addressing it or we're asking for help. Taking care of your mental health is extremely crucial to your overall well being and to your academic success, right? So, could you imagine if you were feeling overwhelmed by the 6 courses that you have and you just so happen to be failing one of those courses, right? Your mental health may take a turn when that happens because, hey, you were overwhelmed and you didn't have the time or the space or the opportunity to ask for help. Be mindful that when you start to notice you're not feeling right or that there could potentially be an issue, that you seek support and seek help. And as I mentioned before, going back to my previous slides, finding the campus mental health center or the counseling center, or just relying on, peers at other campuses, right? They may be going through something similar and you guys can talk it all out. Or most importantly, bringing it to your parents' attention because they are also there for support. And during this time, as you're, making your way onto campus and, finding, out everything that's going on, stay open-minded and be open to embracing new experiences, right? That's what comes along this wonderful journey is just being aware that experiences are available. Um, Approach every activity with some form of curiosity, right? Like I mentioned before, if you're interested in Greek life, right? Go to the events that the particular fraternity or sorority is hosting. Ask questions. Look at it as a learning opportunity to help you grow. Or even if it's something happening at one of the centers on campus, go there, ask questions, explore, just keep an open mind during this time. Avoid judgments, right? Again, being open minded, especially when it comes to people and courses that you may be unfamiliar about. Just embrace the experiences because this is a part of the mindful journey, right? Like we're open to these experiences, and we want to make sure that we are taking them for what they are, right? Instead of judging them and making bad calls about them, right? Because sometimes it's just our first interaction with some of these organizations or these places on campus. Be open-minded. Explore your interest, right? Enroll in classes. I know sometimes you get to have elective courses. Enroll in some of those elective courses that actually spark your interest or your curiosity, even if they aren't a part of your major. There was one course that I took that wasn't a part of my major. Actually, two. I took a floral arrangement course, which was quite fun. And then I took a music appreciation course, which had nothing to do with my major. Nothing at all. But it was just something that I needed a filler course at the time. And when I was looking through my program catalog, I saw these and I was like, oh, this sounds like something that I may have an interest in. I've never done anything like this before. I have played in band when I was in high school, but band and music appreciation sounds like two different things. And I genuinely enjoyed both of the courses that I was able to take. So explore your interests during this time. Again, that's part of the mindful journey, tapping into yourself and seeing what you are interested in. Um, Joining clubs, sports, or teams or different student organizations that, may have interest for you. I know when I was on campus, we called it the yard. So like in the middle of the student union, there was like this, and we would do flyers back in the day, like hard copy flyers that we would hang up, and it was very exciting to like see all of the organizations, and a lot of our posters were hand drawn at the time, because we didn't have Canva. We didn't have all the good stuff that organizations and you all have now. So we were able to just create flyers just based off of the resources that we had, but just seeing the wealth of resources and opportunities that were available was amazing. And again, it's just approaching all of these with curiosity and just being open minded and figuring out, oh, is this going to be a good fit for me? Right? Is this something that I could be interested in? Is this something that's going to be beneficial for me for the first year or maybe the full 4 years that I'm here on campus? So just seek out different options that are available. Um, Again, just talking more about mental health again, right? Because that's always going to be a reoccurring thing while you're making the transition to a campus, prioritizing your well-being, right? As I mentioned before, physical health, maintaining a healthy lifestyle through proper nutrition, exercise, and sleep. Instead of taking the bus, like say if it's a beautiful day today or a beautiful day on campus, instead of taking the bus, maybe walk this time, right? Save the bus rides for when it's super cold or when it's rainy outside. Make those options or those decisions that are going to promote your physical health. Mental health, again, practicing mindfulness, meditation, and stress relief techniques. These are going to be things that you should start really considering as you're on your summer break right now, or even for the parents. Maybe you can foster this with your kiddo and just say, hey, let's do a quick guided meditation. I found one. I noticed that you seemed a little stressed today. Or hey, I found this meditation app. How about you download this one because this may help you in the moment when you're feeling stressed. So this can be like a family activity as well. Another thing to do while you're transitioning to the college campus, right, is set your boundaries, right? Self-awareness, recognize your self-awareness, right? Understand your capacity for academic and social activities. I was literally just having a conversation with one of my clients, and we were talking about our social batteries and sometimes how they can be drained. And if we don't step away and recharge ourselves, we struggle trying to, be active or be present in society or work. And I know for myself, if my social battery is drained, I need to take a step back and, recharge, right? I'm aware of my capacity and what I can and cannot do. And so as you give yourself grace and adjust to the college campus, it will be important for you to start looking and being self-aware of what you can and cannot handle. And another thing that I want to point out is don't overcommit, right? Know if you can't do something or if you're tired, right? Be realistic with yourself and say, I can handle this or I can't handle this, right? Don't overbook your schedule because that will make you feel overwhelmed. It may make those anxious feelings come up even more, or it may make you feel a little depressed. We don't know, but don't overbook, don't overcommit. Take your time and just adjust. All right, so here are some practical tips when adjusting to college. Some of them I've mentioned before, right? Trying new things. Each semester, commit to trying at least one new club, right? A class or an activity. Um, this will help you discover new interests if you feel like your interests have changed since high school, or you feel like, hey, you know what? I may want to try this. I never had the opportunity to try this. Take that time to do this during that time. And you get to meet new people. Because sometimes people are doing the same thing, just trying to really figure out, like, hey, what am I going to do on campus? Or what is campus life going to look like for me right now? Um, Set weekly goals for yourself. I'm a big goal setter. I do it both personally and academically since I'm in school. And this is one of my big motivators. And I also still tell my mom things like, hey, I'm working on my writing this week or something like that. I'm trying to accomplish this goal. I'll tell my husband that. And just having someone else hear about my weekly goals really holds me accountable, which, maybe you could do that with your roommate, or maybe you could do that with a peer that may not even be on campus with you, right? They could be at another school and they're like, I kind of need to do the same, right? We need to be each other's accountability person. So maybe find that while you're setting your weekly goals as well. Engage in regular self check ins, assess your stress levels on a daily basis. And adjust your boundaries as needed. Like I mentioned, don't overcommit because we don't want to overwhelm yourself. And if you feel like you can't handle the emotions or feelings that are coming up, ask for help. Go to the counseling center or the mental health center on campus, reach out to a friend, but most importantly, reach out to your parents. So, parents, if there's any parents in the room, what's your role and how can you help during this college transition? So some of the parental roles that I came up with is be prepared for these emotional changes. Understand that your teen might go through a range of emotions, whether that's happy, sad, excited, depressed, anxious, whatever the case may be, right? They may be experiencing that, and you might as well, right? Especially if it's your firstborn, or especially if it's your baby going off to college. You may be feeling some type of way, right? These changes and these emotions that are coming up are going to be a big adjustment for the whole family. So talk about it. There's no shame in talking about it. Communicating it and addressing it is very important, and it will allow your child to feel comfortable addressing it as well when they notice or feel that their emotions are not aligned. Offer emotional support and reassurance, but also encourage your teen to seek support from friends and the campus resources, especially if something happens during the day and you're not available, right? They need some support. So if they have that option of going to a friend or the center on campus, encourage them to do that because those resources are available for them. Encourage your team to get engaged, right? Encourage your team to get involved in campus life through clubs, organizations, or even part time jobs. Being engaged can help them, you know, feel connected and feel less homesick. And then you can also remind them of the importance of balancing academics and social activities and self-care during this time as well, emphasizing the importance of finding the balance and not overdoing it, especially if it's their first year on the campus. You want to make sure that they are, balancing their grades, but also having some self-care implemented in there as well. You can also support your teens through encouraging them to take on more responsibilities before they leave for college, right? So, say if it's the summer of your teen's senior year, you can tell them or suggest to them like, hey, maybe you should start working on a part-time job or doing some volunteer opportunities, or even if they have the option to babysit a younger sibling, really encourage that, because this will help them feel more confident in their ability to manage on their own. Or maybe even going grocery shopping, or if you guys are in the store together, buying or picking out their own personal hygiene supplies and laundry detergents, because at some point they're going to need this skill to be able to do on their own. You can also offer guidance, but allow them to make their own decisions and learn from their experiences. Um, and communication, as I mentioned, is important. So communicate openly with them, right? Have honest conversations about expectations for when they leave or while they're still at home waiting to leave. Talk about fears and hopes for their college experience, and establish a communication plan that works for the both of you, right? Balancing staying in touch and respecting their independence, right? Trying not to be overbearing. As I mentioned, I have kids, and I already know sometimes that I can be a little overbearing, and that could just be the therapist in me. But I also have learned to start to respect my especially my oldest daughter, since she's going to high school, some of her independence, while still guiding her to where she needs to be and redirecting certain things. But with a kid that's going to college, right, you want to make sure that, hey, I'm supporting you, I'm guiding you, I'm not going to give you all the answers anymore, because I want you to kind of work through these situations, or deal with making decisions independently outside of me. So these are just some strategies, right? And before we end the um, webinar tonight, I will drop an article from the New York Times on some other ways that parents can provide supports to their teens as they're transitioning to college. Another thing that parents can do, one, you can also get yourself familiar with the resources that are available on campus. You can reflect back to when you did the college tours with your student. Think about, hey, I remember them mentioning that they had this option on campus. Maybe if you need this support, go check it out, right? Just so that you're aware of the options that are available is going to be very helpful for them, because again, it can be overwhelming when your teen is on the campus and they can forget. So just reminding them like, hey, this is available. Stay up to date on key dates and events potentially, such as the move-in day, orientation, and some academic deadlines, just to help them. Right, if they didn't write it down, you can be like, "Hey, I kind of remember this," or just kind of guiding them so that they can figure out, like, "All right, I should probably write this down in my planner if my parents telling me about it. Like, I'm the one living on campus, I should know that." So just like staying informed in the event that you need to support and guide your teen with that information. All right. So that I'm going to stop there for now. I will share again in a moment, but that is all I have for my personal presentation. But I did want to drop that article in the chat. So if you give me one moment, I will drop that article in the chat. If my chat box comes up, there we go. Oh, it's from USA Today, not New York Times. Sorry about that. And this just, helps parents provides more insights on how parents can also guide their college-bound students. Um, and I'm going to share my screen again because I want to do that. And so before we wrap up, I just wanted to share information about our upcoming events. So if you have a junior that is rising up to being a senior, or a sophomore that is rising up to being a senior, and they want to really get to know more about what a personal statement is for their college essay, we actually have a college essay um, statement or personal statement workshop coming up on June 13th, and that will be at 7 p.m. EST and 4 p.m. PST. So if you know somebody or your own student has this coming up, please share this information with them. It can also be found on our UA website under events. And then if you do go to our UA website, you'll see our save the date flyer or memo at the top of the site for our virtual college fair that's happening on October 19th. So if you have a rising sophomore that's going to be a junior, or a rising junior that's going to be a senior, and they're still looking at some colleges, definitely share this information out about our virtual college fair. It's going to be so cool. It was fire this year. So I definitely recommend that you really start to follow our UA platform, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, or just go directly to the site, because more workshops and more information about the college fair will be coming up. Okay. And just want to take a moment. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, but I will drop the link for our survey. And if you fill out the survey, you definitely have the opportunity to win a $25 gift card. So if you love a good gift card like I do, fill out the survey and you will hear back from one of the UA staff with your gift card. And does anyone have any questions right now? No? All right. Well, it was a pleasure sharing this information with you all this evening or today or afternoon, wherever you may be. Um, just so you know, if you want to rewatch this or you want to share this webinar with somebody, tomorrow you will, one, receive an email regarding the webinar that will also have the link to the survey, and it is a shareable recording. And if you weren't able to make it tonight, or if you know someone that was supposed to be on, they will also get that information as well, or you can share it with whoever you please. So thankful that you guys were able to join us, and I hope that everyone has a good rest of their day. Talk to you soon. Bye.